let's move on to the self-awareness part of this journey. um, this has to be the first tool of transformation, because if you're not self-aware, you're
Mm,
not you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to be in a hamster wheel. You're in a circle. You keep going and going and going, and you won't realize anything that's happening to you or your families. So how to spot unhealthy responses before it becomes a reaction? Like, I saw when I went to my mother and I shared a concern, she blew up. Okay. And I do the same because that's how it's run in the family. And it's like you said, it's subconscious. So you don't even realize you're doing that. So how to catch yourself first of all, and then change it into a better response. How to be aware of our triggers, our tones, and our thoughts, and why we parent better when we respond instead of reacting. What's happening there when we are responding versus we are reacting? Why is it better?
yeah. Yeah, subhanallah. I mean, yes, I think now we're coming to the, how we can fix this. That's kind of the section we are in right now. So, the first way to understand, that, we have issues, if you're not yet understood, is to see how your relationships are, right? If you already have kids, see, the relationships you have with them. If and your fitra will tell, and you will know, if the kids are, talking to you, respectfully, if they are, sharing things, you're having good time with them, that means your relationships are good. But if you kind of see that they are, not listening to you, or they're throwing a lot of tantrums, you see symptoms of, them being too much gloomy, or I mean all the time, once in a while it's normal. Again, you have to understand these are like persistent behaviors. If you find a pattern, then you got to there's something which needs work. So so look at your relationships. That's one way. And the secondly, you can keep a log or a diary, and note down how many times you have how much time you have spent with the kid, how with how many times you have sat and listened to what he has to say, how many times you yelled at your kid, or was your every interaction a command, so you kind of you can keep a log and see your own responses. The other thing is you can ask your spouse or your kids to give feedback, just as, sit on with a coffee, or in a tea with your kids, or and then have this conversation, and be ready to
That
hear
needs to
something.
be.
You might be surprised, is that me?
Uh-huh.
Because you
Yeah.
probably have
You have
done
to be
that.
brave to do that. And
It'll take a brave, and you might just be surprised that, is that me? Because you're not coming, you had no intention of doing that, and you're and totally oblivious of what how you come across, right?
yes,
So
yes.
those are some of the way techniques to spot those things, and the again and then also you can again, I think keeping a log and journaling, I think, is probably the best way. If you start feeling upset, or if you kind of get angry, or if you have any if you are feeling worried, then again, these are all things, and just keep a note of what incident brought this on. Because this again might be, if you're not being very self-aware of yourself, this is probably
Mhm.
all in your subconscious, and which are triggering maybe memories from childhood, maybe trauma, all those things. So you want to keep a um uh, yeah, keeping a journal and a log of
Yeah,
how you're feeling, what triggered it,
yeah,
as well as feedback would probably be the best ways of
yeah.
transformation. Yeah, anything else, Sister Vinish? I mean, I
I
your
think I
point.
love the idea of journaling to begin with. I
Mm,
honestly, I have a very different take on journaling. I
mm,
don't like journaling and I don't encourage journaling.
mm.
But and the reason why is because I don't want to leave anything behind that's that people can use against me on the day of judgment. I have a proof left behind.
So,
So that's why journaling needs to be done in a very safe way.
I agree.
Right? Yeah. So I'm not going to be confessing my sins in my journal, but I'm going to be confessing feelings, emotions, and it needs to be productive.
Right, right,
So
exactly.
I would say that to begin the journey of self-awareness, journaling is going to definitely help, because if I am feeling angry and I pick up a paper and a pen, I start writing, I am angry, and this is what's making me angry. My husband said this, and that's why I'm mad. And that will help you lead to the core of it, the anger. Because anger is not a problem. And we need to understand that anger is not a problem. We should get angry for the right reasons, and it's okay. It's how we react to it and the intensity of that reaction. So if it is something little, you're not supposed to have a big reaction to it. And if you're doing that, that's not proportional. The reaction is not proportional to the action, then it's a problem,
True.
right? So for those who are in the beginning of the self-awareness journey, I think journaling is a very good idea of putting down your emotions on a paper and then going over it and realizing, okay, so, and it's going to happen eventually. Maybe the first few times you won't really figure out why. You will only think, oh, I'm a bad person, that's why I get mad. No, that's never the reason. Anger is a symptom, it's not a sign. It's a symptom of something else that's going on in you. So you will eventually reach that point. So for some time I would highly encourage people to start journaling their emotions. Don't confess anything on those papers.
Yeah, yeah,
Inshallah. So with that, you will come to rediscover yourself. You're gonna find parts of yourself which you were hiding for a long time, or you were scared of facing. You didn't want to face those uh, parts of your life from your childhood or from your youth, but you got to face them. You got to face them, and because answers are there, all the answers are there. Why you are doing what you're doing, why do you react in a way you do, why do you not respond and react. We're going to talk more about what's the difference, and why do you blow up unproportionally, why do you get offended so quick, um, why do you get up, all of those negative emotions which you are storing in yourself are telling you something about you. The triggers are telling you something about you that you keep ignoring. That's why they keep coming back. Once you
yeah,
find the answer, you will know how to manage it better, because now you know why. It's not your child crying. It's not because your children cry. you know Children make accidents. It's all the time. It's what they do. That should not make me lose my self control as a parent. So if I am losing my control, that means something else is there that's causing it. So we need to go deeper into ourselves. Answers lie within your heart, and journaling will actually help you go through that. So to begin the self-awareness journey, definitely journal. And when you are going to develop this habit, eventually, I tell you, you don't even have to journal. You will do it in your brain. You will do it in your mind, and you will catch yourself before you react. You will have a plan what to do, and you will respond the way you should respond. So, you know, um, it's a process, it's a journey, and you need to start today, right? Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
inshallah. Inshallah. So, what's the difference between responding and reacting?
Yeah, yeah. So, very, very good, question, and very important knowledge, And in this, I'm going to, explain to you a little bit of the human brain, And, again, I'm very fond of Dr. Dan Siegel's work. So, the brain model, the way he explained was, just, take your hand and put your thumb in the middle, and then you just close it. So this is kind of like a model of the brain, right? So the outermost part of the brain is we call the cortex. Okay, it's not so much about the names, but just understand that. And this has a lot of neurons. Okay, that's nerve cells. Then when you open up, this part is called the limbic system. Okay,
Mhm.
and then when then the palm, this is the brain stem area. Okay, and this one you can imagine like the spinal cord, right?
Mhm.
From the brain, all the the nerves are coming down, and then they get distributed and go different parts of the body. Okay, so we'll start with these three different areas now. So this the palm of the hand, which is called the brain stem, it is a part of the brain which is found in all the animals, even the reptiles, and very very animals millions of years ago, they have this part, which is called the brain stem. And it is in this part that when there's any threat,
Mhm.
any threat which either it is right in front of you, or even you imagine a threat, then it will kind of go into then the body automatically, as a reflex, can the fright comes in, then it can either freeze, either you can go into a freeze position, or you can go into a flight. That means you want to run away from that scene, the flight, or you can fight. If you have no choice, then the only thing you got to do is you're going to fight, or you can even or freeze and faint. You can sometimes people can just faint. They have that response of just fainting out. So that is a normal response, which is inbuilt. That's the way the body will respond whenever there's any threat. So that is what this does. Now then later on, when in the all the mammals, what they find is that this part of the brain is also there, which is called the limbic system.
Mhm.
And this limbic system is the one which is help which we have the feelings. The feelings are there, the emotions are there. There's the memories of emotions, and the memory part is also in this area. So this is the limbic system, and this has connection with the brainstem also. That's why if any emotion triggers you as a threat, which in the past, you have seen something, and that reminds you of a threat which is in the memory part, and that kind of gives you the feeling of threat, then you might go ahead and start just reacting out. So that's where the reaction basically comes from the brainstem. So we have the limbic system, and then, but as a human, in humans, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has made this, the upper part, which is called the cortex, and this part of the brain is getting all the information from your senses, whether it's your eyes, whether you're hearing, the touch, all that is coming, all that information is now coming to the cortex part, the upper part. And again, all these are all these are going to be interconnected. And then in the front of the brain, is called as a frontal area, the executive functions, the thinking, and
Mhm.
the regulation, all of that, it's going to be in this frontal and the prefrontal cortex. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in humans, he has given us ability to do this. So that is why we can be aware, we can reflect back, we can think, we can change, we can plan. So we have we can take our time, analyze, and respond. But for that, we have to be engaging the prefrontal, the cortex area. And this is this is a alhamdulillah, this is a part of the brain which Allah has given us. And that is why they ask as well. So we have to use this part of the brain in helping us to be to fix anything which is either damaged in us,
Mhm.
and use this to be to enable us to fulfill the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we got to learn how to use this part as well,
Mhm.
the prefrontal
Yeah.
cortex. So basically, again, when you talk about reaction, so if if you're not if you're not engaging your the prefrontal cortex, then you will just go and you'll react. You'll find yourself in the reactive mode.
Oh,
But
okay.
if you are going through this process of awareness,
Yeah.
the consciousness, then thinking about it, planning about problem solving, all that, then you are engaging on this area, and
Mhm.
then you're responding. So you responding, you're the thing, and the flipping the lid is you're getting flipped,
Yeah.
you're just reacting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flight, ride, freeze,
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
it's good to know.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we do it. And now again, the whole point is going to be how to use this. And subhanallah, in sujood, you are in that position.
Yeah.
This part of the brain, gets more blood flow. This is again, it's my theory. It's not any written, but I believe that this part of the brain gets more blood flow
Yeah.
just because of gravity.
Yeah.
So subhanallah, and again, the ayats of the Quran, Allah holds you with the forelock. Again, this part of the brain is a blessing which is given to us, and we got to optimize it. And I believe every ritual in Islam is to enhance the ability of this part, whether it's fasting, teaching self-control,
Mhm.
whether it's sujood, because giving more, it just gives of whether you're not asking not to watch wrong things. It's all to get this all to keep this part activated,
Active. Yeah.
well rounded and
Yeah.
active, and the intoxicants will get this off. The intoxicants will stop this function of this. That's why again that's haram. So uh, Islam actually fosters the development of the forward reflection, tadabbur and tafakkur. I think everything, if you kind of
Yeah.
sit back and think, it's probably the everything. So that's
Okay.
the yeah. So I just want the audience to take the responses from this, and the reactions just you're flipped.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why his reaction is called flipped. I flipped.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Right?
why they
Yeah.
use the word. You flip your cortex is out. You're just going in your primitive, and
Yeah.
urgent thinking.
Yes, subhanallah. And brain is a muscle, so whichever part you're using the most is going to be your initial or
Yeah,
response or action reaction. That's
absolutely.
gonna become stronger.
Yes.
Subhanallah. So yeah. Um Great explanation, mashallah. Jazakallah khair, Dr. Farhana. It's like we never thought like that. How our ibadah even promotes uh, nurturing this part of our brain. Like it
Yeah.
is encouraged to make longer sujood. There has to be a reason, and I
Yeah.
think there is truth to your understanding towards that. That the blood flow increases, and that of course anywhere there is blood flow, there is oxygen, and that place on your body is thriving and healthy. And generally, because we're all standing up, there is no other way of getting blood here unless we are in sujood. So
Absolutely.
that's why, 5 salahs are fard upon us, no excuse.
Mm.
There's a reason. There's a
Yeah.
reason. There's hikmah behind every command. Subhanallah.
Wow.
Amazing, mashallah. So, yep, it's about response, it's about planning, thinking, reasoning, and coming up with the best um, response to a situation. And reaction is what you do without thinking, it just happens.
Yeah.
And then we don't know how we're damaging the other person and ourselves. It's not fun. It's not fun to be an angry, a reactive person
Yeah.
yourself, also.